Hello. So yes, it's a foam episode, but it's more than that because I might just have. I think I said I wanted a refund for this laser. Still, I'm not sure if it's true, but by the looks of it, I made maybe a mistake, or at least, well, maybe not me, but maybe I don't get the software I use. So, well, I'll start at the beginning. I made this template, and the day after I got my laser that I ordered. It's a 7.5 watt laser, or at least it should be, but I'm not too sure. So I connected it to my CNC. It's all fine and dandy, and put out a PWM PWN signal, or is it LTT? Well, sort of the same. I don't know. To be able to determine the strength the laser is outputting. That's one option. I tried it the whole day, and I tried my old laser, tried this one, and then I used my power supply, which is not visible, I think. There. And the maximum draw was like 2.4 watts. Now, let's say this laser we're supposed to be 7.5 watts, which, well, fine. But I feed it 12 volts to this converter thingy, and then it goes to the laser. So if you're looking only at amperage, at 12 volt, the amperage is, well, less than half of the amperage the diode sees. Well, since I got a power supply that also measures watts, I can see directly if it's okay or not. 2.4 watts is of course not the same as 7.5 watts. And that is if you take into account that this converter board is like 100% efficient, which is probably far from true. I mean, let's say it reaches 90, we have more wattage drawn than 7.5, so maybe like 8 watts or 9 watts, depending on how efficient it is. So, and only now, when I wanted to cut this with my template and a method that I did try last time, instead of the knife, using a soldering iron, which, by the way, works really well. So it might just be the way to go, but I was setting up to cut this, and then I thought, you know what, maybe I'll try the laser without the PWN controller attached and just, feed it 5 volt. This PWN is limited to 5 volts. So 5 volts, if you put out 5 volts, it will be full power for the laser. And what it does, it creates like a PWN signal that translates sort of to, let's say, 1 volt. If you smooth it out. It's like digital thingies. But if you smooth it out, it will be around, it's called duty cycle, but you can compare it to a DC voltage, but lower. So if the duty cycle is 50%, so it's on, off, at the same interval, you could say at a high enough frequency, it is 2.5 volt instead of 5 volts. So now I thought, you know what, I'll just add 5 volt to this PWN signal input and see how it goes, see what we get, instead of using my controller. Now, since this one, the input of this 5 volt shares the same ground as the input of the whole thing powering it, So I cannot use like an external, external power supply to give this 5 volt. It's not gonna work. So what I did, I thought, this signal doesn't have to be strong. It just has to be a certain voltage. It doesn't draw any amperage. So I made a divider of resistors. So what you do, you have like 2 values. I use a calculator for this because I'm pretty bad at it. But in this case, one 470 ohm one and one 330 ohm one. And you put them in series, so I'll show you real quick. So I got these 2 resistors. Since there is no apparent draw of current, I can do this. Otherwise, it's definitely not possible. It's not like you can use this instead of a transformer. Definitely not. And put it between the plus and minus of the power supply. It would be nicer to get a higher value, but the ratio would be the same to get this 5 volt. Now they might warm up a little bit. I don't know. I don't need any amperage. So I got my minus contact lead in here. And here's our multimeter. And it's set to 12 volt. So I'll measure at the point where the 2 resistors are connected. So, these 2, this is plus or minus, don't care, but the plus and minus are connected on these poles. And then here I should have the the voltage I was looking for. And in this case that will be 5 volt. And as you can see, 4.99. That's rather decent. That's perfect to me. So that will be if this 5 volt is fed into this controller board, it should be outputting the maximum current to the laser. And now the funny thing is, and I feel a bit guilty about this because now I have to contact this Chinese supplier again and say, sorry, I was wrong. I don't want to like make a hassle out of this because I think I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But I can imagine many people do. Make the same mistake. I don't have a scope, so for me it's hard to check. I have to do with crappy stuff. Now, I'll enable the laser and I'll have to look away probably a little bit. And we'll look at the power draw. So this connector here is connected to the PWM signal input. And if you feed it 5 volt, the laser should be at maximum power. So let's go. Ooh, that's a lot of light. $10.5 watts. So that's more, if you want, you can even like lower this, I think. Not tries to keep up, so that doesn't work. So yes, wow, that's bright. I'll have to spend another half a day, I guess. And then I'm not gonna use the PWM signal from Mac 3 because it's crooked and it's not correct. Or it's my breakout board, but something is wrong. It's not working as it should. This is how it should work. It draws almost 10 watts. And well, if you use efficiency of this driver board, that might well be 7.5 watts, maybe a little bit more even. So it would be nicer to see if I can make a combination of these 2 resistors to have like, I don't know, 80% or something. I'll go with that. That's good enough, or 90%. Just, if you're not overpowering this thing, the longer it lasts. So, and it's only like 20 cents. I wish I did that before. I could even embed it in like the connector of the thing. I had like an old XLR kind of connection thing. So that's good to know. Apparently it kind of does work, or kind of, it works. I'm not sure how well it cuts, but at least it's drawing 10 watts instead of 2.5 watts, which is like, you know, not great. So pretty happy about that. So that's fun. Let's disable this. And now test the thing I wanted to test, actually, before I, you know, had an idea to try this. So I'll fix the laser tomorrow or something. I'll use some different resistance, and then yes, I cannot like adjust the power in my software, which I wanted to do, but apparently it doesn't work. And I'd rather have it cut than be able to control power. The thing is with power, it's always a relation to how fast the laser is moving and how much power it puts out. So if the power is too much, you just move faster. And in this case, since, you know, these lasers are not like insanely powerful, I'm pretty sure I'll find some sort of midway where it works and does what I want it to do. But what I wanted to try is actually cut this foam. So I'll just, you know, because you're probably sick of this foam thing, I'll try and do it anyways, because I made the template and I never used the iron. Well, I did use the iron when I made a carton template, which I never showed you because it sucked. So I wonder how this works. It might work pretty well. So it is a soldering iron with a very sharp tip. It's filed down because this iron sucks, but it's useful for some things like this or cutting mylar. So let's see. That works. Yeah, so although I got my laser working, you know, this might work just as well. There is some flashing here, so I'm not sure. Maybe the angle is wrong. Or maybe there is some residue left over from this kind of method. I don't know. So this side looks really flat. This side, there's like a hard, well, it's hard to see, a little bit of an edge, but it depends on how you glue it on, of course. This works perfectly fine too. People suggested hot wire cutters. I used it for like hard foam. It's not very nice for soft foam because you always have like 2 connector points, and well, this won't be, you know, it's not stiff. So a iron would be nicer, or a laser. But anyhow, this works. So if the laser doesn't work good enough, this will definitely work. And it wasn't hard at all. So, well, yeah. Thanks for the suggestions, by the way. I mean, I tried several and did not post it, so people suggested things that I already tested, but that's my fault. So thanks for the suggestions anyways. I mean, yeah, that's the way you learn things. So yeah, this could be used, but I'm not gonna use it right now. See you next time. Bye bye. Oh yeah, and so if you buy lasers, yeah, it's kind of troublesome. I thought I was like screwed over, and maybe I am. I mean, maybe I'm overdriving it all the way. It might still be a laser that is 5 watts, and I'm pumping in 7.5, or maybe it's less. Who knows? But I did think when I received it, it was in a nice box, was in a nice box. It had all the cabling, so it looked quite good. And I thought, well, this is gonna work. This is a really nice looking unit. The plastic is my own, of course, but and apparently it might actually work good. And it was my fault or Mach 3's fault, but then again, it's my fault actually. So it looks that I can get power out of it. So tomorrow or the day after, I will definitely try cutting stuff. Hell yeah, that's fixed. And I'll lower the power a little bit just to make sure it lasts a little bit longer. See you around. Bye bye.